So let me begin by being clear that the policy of prohibiting cohabitation by having a criminal penalty is not good policy, and I agree that it should be removed. I have to imagine the statute was enacted in order to encourage marriage, which is a good end, through an unjustified means. In short, it was a foolish policy that is reflected in the fact that it has not been enforced for nearly a century. That being said, this bill fails to also consider secondary effects, in which I will get into. But first, if I may be given a brief bit of latitude, I have a short story that I'd like to share, and I assure everyone that it will demonstrate why I am opposed to this bill. So a friend of mine told me a story from a couple years ago. He was working at his desk, and he was trying to read an important document for work, and as he sat there, his dog was annoyingly staring at him. So he moved to the dining room, and wouldn't you know, just then, his wife received a phone call, and that was more distracting than the dog. So he went toward his bedroom, and his wife said, "Hey, don't go in there, the baby's sleeping." So he went to one of the children's bedroom, and he opened the door, and two of them were in there playing a game. So he went down to another bedroom. This is a Catholic family, by the way, if you haven't put it together. And a couple of other kids in there were playing as well. So finally he closed his eyes and he prayed. And he said, "Lord, can I just get 10 minutes to read this important document?" So he opened his eyes and his prayers were answered. A few minutes later, his wife remembered. She had something to tell him. She went into the study, he wasn't there. She went to the bedroom, the baby was quietly sleeping. He wasn't there. Went to the children's bedrooms, he wasn't there. So like her husband, she closed her eyes and she prayed. And she opened her eyes and she went down and knocked on the door to the tiny bathroom down the hall. And she said, "Are you going to the bathroom?" And he replied, "No, but this tiny bathroom was the only place I could get some quiet. It was the answer to my prayers." And she replied, "Well, it was the answer to mine too, because I knew you could not have gone far." This story illustrates that when one is married, there is a commitment by both spouses to stay no matter what, even if one's only refuge is in a tiny bathroom. Cohabitation is different. There one says, "I love you, and I want to live with you, but I reserve the right to leave." There, the refuge can be found in another house, another city, another state, or anywhere else. This type of family structure lends itself to instability and is not the optimal environment for raising children. The problem with this reform is that it fails to recognize the secondary effects. Federal law prevents taxpayers from claiming someone as a dependent if their relationship violates state law. The bill before us today would clear the way for two unmarried individuals living together to meet dependency requirements and claim those tax benefits. This is a policy I cannot get behind, because there is clear and overwhelming evidence to show that it is better for children to be in a household with married parents. Some of these benefits include physically and mentally healthier, more likely to succeed academically, more likely to go to college, less likely to be in poverty, less likely to show delinquent behavior, less likely to become pregnant or impregnate someone else, less likely to contract STDs, better relationships with their own mother and father, less likely to become divorced later in life, and the list goes on. I very much agree that the criminal penalty is an unjustified means to an end, and it should be removed. I cannot, however, close my eyes to the secondary effects of this bill. I very easily would be a yes on this bill if the tax structure continued to encourage marriage, because there is an overwhelming benefit for the growth and development of our children. Marriage has been the building block for families and societies across the world for recorded human history. It is a timeless and proven family structure with mountains of evidence displaying the clear benefits for children raised in that environment. So again, having a criminal penalty for cohabitation is not good policy, but this bill has potential consequences beyond that on the institution of marriage. For this reason, I cannot support this bill. It removes the bad from state law without an effort to keep what is good. Thank you, and I encourage a no vote.